Hey everybody, welcome to another director's ranking video, and today I am ranking all 13 of Stanley Kubrick's films. Yes, I've done other director rankings in the past, such as Quentin Tarantino, Kevin Smith, the Coen brothers, David Lynch. Now I am doing Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick, considered to be one of the greatest directors of all time, if not the greatest director of all time, and I thought I'd direct all of his films. He's only done 13 films, and yeah, I watched them all, and here's my ranking for them. So all right. So before we get started, keep in mind these are my personal opinions, because I know my least favorite, my number 13, might piss some people off because it is kind of a beloved film from him. So just keep in mind this is my personal my these are my personal favorites, and this is my personal ranking, personal list of Stanley Kubrick. So just keep that in mind. If you like my number 13, then good for you. I'm not a fan though. So all right. So okay, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Okay, so number 13. Number 13 is, like I said, some people might get mad that I have this as my least favorite, but I don't know. I'm just not a fan. Some people might say that this is one of his most underrated films. I honestly think it's his most overrated film. That is my number 13, my least favorite Stanley Kubrick film, Paths of Glory. Yes, Paths of Glory. I mean, I'll give it this. It's not a bad film. It's all right, I guess, in terms of if it's a good movie or not. It's okay. Um, but the reason why it's my least favorite is because I found this movie to be boring as fuck. To be honest, I was not into this. I thought it was really boring, and I just couldn't get into Paths of Glory. It honestly, this is not even a 2 hour film, and it took me 3 days to watch it because it was that boring to me. So yeah. The ending was okay. I thought the ending was fine, and I do like some of the tracking shots in this film, and the black and white cinematography is pretty cool. But other than that, I don't care for this film. I don't like Paths of Glory. I don't really see myself watching it ever again, at least anytime soon. Maybe in the next, I don't know, 5 years or so. But yeah, I I'm not a fan. This is my least favorite Stanley Kubrick film, and yeah, it's number 13, Paths of Glory. Okay, number 12. Number 12. Some people might would put this at the bottom of the list, but I have it one ahead of Paths of Glory. That is his debut film, Fear and Desire. Yes, Fear and Desire. Like I said, his debut film. It's okay. Nothing too special. It's kind of boring too, but I did find it a little bit more entertaining than Paths of Glory. Um, there was like only one scene that kind of grabbed my attention. It was a scene involving this young, attractive woman, but everything else was just kind of wasn't into. Um, at least it was short though. I mean, Paths of Glory wasn't that short either, but I mean, wasn't that long either, but Fear and Desire was only like 62 minutes. Yeah, really short for a full length feature film. Um, yeah, it's okay. I don't really see myself ever watching it again. It's probably a one and done for me. Um, yeah, Fear and Desire. That is number 12. Okay, number 11. Number 11. Number 11. I think this one might also be, in my opinion, one of his most overrated films. Although some people might say it's one of his most underrated films. I don't know. This does get some love, so that's why I kind of say it's a little bit overrated. Not as overrated as Paths of Glory, though. But my number 11 is The Killing. Yeah. The Killing, again, it just wasn't really that. It it just wasn't that. I was about to say not that interesting. Actually, it kind of is, but not that entertaining. There was only one scene that I found entertaining, and it was actually pretty funny too. It's the scene with that big fat guy, the big fat bald guy who kind of looks like the wrestler George the Animal Steel. Whenever he's like fighting all these cops and stuff, that was hilarious. That scene was very entertaining. But other than that, I wasn't a fan of this movie, and I just thought, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I don't think Kubrick has ever made a bad film. Not even Paths of Glory and Fear and Desire. So, this one I thought was okay. I just wasn't a fan. Maybe like Paths of Glory, I might give about 5 years, and maybe I'll watch it again. But yeah, it's okay. Or The Killing, that is my number 11. Okay, now my number 10, and the rest of these movies I do like. Even my number 10, I do like this movie. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I do like it, and I even own it on Blu-ray. So my number 10 is Spartacus. Yeah, Spartacus. I think this was probably his first like Hollywood film, his first like big movie that he's ever done, or at least one that became popular, right away. Because like Paths of Glory is popular now, but I think at the time it wasn't like huge yet. Like it's a cult classic. This one was like his first big movie, and yeah, it's good. I do think it's I do think it's too long though. I do think it's too long. It's a 3 hour film, and of course this took me about 3 or 4 days to watch it as well. But of course this one's understandable because it's a 3 hour film. Um, I like it, but I'm not. I don't like the second act of this film. I honestly find the second act to be pretty boring, if I'm going to be honest. But the first act is very good. I enjoy the first act, and the third act, for the most part, is good. I think it had a little bit of slow moments too, but it was fine. It was just the second act I wasn't into. Kirk Douglas is very good in this. I should say the late great Kirk Douglas. Very good in this film as Spartacus. Yeah, it's a fine film. It's all right. I mean it's pretty good. I wouldn't watch it a whole lot, like, but I do own it on Blu-ray, and it's good. It's good. Spartacus, that is number 10. All right, number 9. Number 9, this one might surprise some people because, along with Fear and Desire, a lot of people put this uh, to the bottom as well, and while ranking this filmography. But I actually happen to like this one. I honestly find it to be one of his most underrated films. That is his second film, Killer's Kiss. Yeah, Killer's Kiss. Unfortunately, I don't own it, and I probably never will because I don't think it ever had like a separate release, like a physical release for it, like separately. I think there's a one with it as a double feature with The Killing, and it's also on The Killing Criterion as well. I think that's the only way you can get it on physical media, unfortunately, which I don't understand because there is a physical release for Fear and Desire, but there isn't for Killer's Kiss. I don't understand that. If they ever do make one though, then I will probably get it because I enjoyed Killer's Kiss. I thought it was very good. It is really short, just like Fear and Desire. This one's only like 67 minutes. But no, I actually really enjoy. I liked Killer's Kiss. I thought it was really good. I just wish it was longer, but I really liked it, and I liked the climax at the end of the film. Yeah, it's good. It's a good movie. I find it to be underrated for a Kubrick film. Yeah, Killer's Kiss. That is number 9. Okay, number 8. Number 8. Now some people might get mad at me for this not being higher because a lot of people love this movie, and I get it. It's really good. I just don't love it as much as a lot of people. My number 8 is Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Yeah, very good film. I'm not going to say that it's overrated or anything because no, it's not. It's a good movie. I like it for the most part. I do find it to be very slow, though. To be honest, I do think it is a slow movie. Um, besides it does have good humor for sure, but I don't know. There's some scenes in this film that I just wasn't into that I found to be very slow, but it's still good. Peter Sellers, very funny in this film. He plays three different characters, including the title character, Doctor Strangelove, and I love George C. Scott. George C. Scott as the general, hilarious, probably my favorite character in the movie, and also Slim Pickens as well. And that his spoiler alert, his death scene, hilarious. Yeah, it's a good and funny movie. I do think it's a little bit slow though, unfortunately. But I still enjoy it, and I own it on DVD. Maybe the more times I'll watch it in the future, maybe I'll like it more. I don't know, but I do like it a little at least. So yeah, Doctor Strangelove is number 8. Okay, number 7. Number 7. All right, so again, like Doctor Strangelove, some people might get mad at me for this not being higher because this is actually a lot of people's number 1, and I definitely get it because to be completely honest, it's probably his best film, but it's not my favorite. I like 6 other movies better. My number 7 is 2001: A Space Odyssey. Yes. Um, yeah, definitely his most divisive film. There's a lot of people that love it, and there's a lot of people that hate it. I don't love or hate it. I like it, though. I do like this movie. I used to love this movie, though, to be honest. But rewatching it for the ranking, I don't know, man. I felt something just felt different rewatching it this time. I just wasn't really that much into it as much as I used to be because I used to love this movie. I used to thought that it was well, I mean, I still think it's one of the greatest movies ever made, of course, but it's not. I don't think I would put this in my favorites anymore. Unfortunately, I used to, but now, yeah, not so much. But still a great film nonetheless. I probably my favorite thing about it, honestly, is the first 20 minutes, the Dawn of Man segment with the monkeys. Yeah, I love that. I love that, and I also love Hal. He's a great villain, and the ending too. It's very good. I'm not a fan of the dialogue though. Particularly just from the human characters, not from Hal. I love every scene with Hal, but yeah, most of the dialogue in this movie, I was never really into that anyways. But yeah, I don't know. Rewatching it this time, I just wasn't into it as much as I used to be, unfortunately. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't in a great mood when I watched it, but yeah, unfortunately it did go down. I thought it would probably be like in the top 3 or top 5, but no. Unfortunately, it's at number 7, but it's still good. Don't get me wrong. I still like it quite a bit. And yeah, 2001, that is number 7. Okay, number 6. Number 6, this movie here, I'm actually really surprised that I have it over 2001 because I used not to like this movie. At one point, this was actually my least favorite Kubrick film, but after rewatching it, I get it now. I get why people love this movie. I think a lot of people say this is his most underrated film, and I might agree to that. Actually, no, I think the next one that I'll show, I think is his most underrated film. But this is a close second for sure. My number 6 is Barry Lyndon. Barry Lyndon, yeah, very good film. I'm not really into like period pieces very much, but no, I like this movie. And even the runtime didn't really drag it down for me this time. It did the first time I watched it. It did kind of. I did not like it, that it was 3 hours long, and it still took me a few days to watch it, but still, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it this time, and Yeah, surprisingly, I didn't think I would. Ryan O'Neal, very good in this film. I think that's his name, right? Ryan O'Neal. Yeah. Um, yeah, it's a good movie. I definitely recommend it. It is long, but still a very good film. Barry Lyndon, that is number six. Okay. Now we're in the top five. All right. So number five. Like I said, this is I think Stanley Kubrick's most underrated film. That is Lolita. Yeah, Lolita. This was actually my first time watching it. I never seen this before I started this ranking. Along with Paths of Glory and his first three films, Fear and Desire, Killer's Kiss, and The Killing, I never seen any of those. And out of all five of those films, Lolita is my favorite. I really enjoyed Lolita. I mean, I get why some people don't like this movie. You know, it is one of his most controversial films because it does have that pedophilia theme to it, but you know, it's still a very good film. I James Mason is very good. Also, Peter Sellers again, he's great, and Sue Lyon as Lolita, she is also very good. Um, I didn't really like Shelley Winters very much, who played Lolita's mom, but but all those other three, you know, I was very impressed. It does have some issues a little bit, like in terms of story, like there's some flaws to it, but overall I still think it's a pretty good movie. Yeah, I like it quite a bit, Lolita, and it is my number five. All right, number four, probably a lot of people, if not 2001, they might say that this is their favorite Stanley Kubrick film. And you know, I get it. It's definitely a classic Kubrick film for sure. Number four is The Shining. Yes. You know, not even a classic, not just a classic Kubrick film, but a classic horror film. And I'm not a big horror movie fan, but I always loved The Shining. Yeah, you know, Jack Nicholson, one of his best performances without a doubt. Shelley Duvall is also very good. Although I do feel sorry for her because she went through hell. You know, um, acting in this film, but yeah, no, she was good though. And also Danny Lloyd as is Danny the kid, very good, and Scatman Crothers as well. Um, I do think it does have some flaws in the writing, like Lolita. It does have some flaws in the writing, like it's not a perfect script. But what makes the movie for me is, well, the performances, like I said, and also the cinematography. Like honestly, I think this might be, in terms of cinematography, I think this is probably Kubrick's best. Like it has out of all of his films, I think this has his best use of cinematography. But yeah, great movie. You know, even though it's not perfect, it's still very good. The Shining, yeah, that is number four. Okay, number three. Number three is another movie that I did not like before rewatching it for the ranking. Much like Barry Lyndon, but after rewatching it, yeah, I love this movie. This was actually the last movie I watched, you know, for the ranking because it was the last movie that he ever made. And if you know, then you know what it is. Number three is Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah. Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah, it's great. Probably one of his most underrated films. Tom Cruise is actually really good in this film. I'm not a Tom Cruise fan, to be honest, but this is his best performance. Like I don't see Tom Cruise in this movie. I see his character. So yeah, that's very good, and yeah, he was great in this. Nicole Kidman as well. Although I felt like she wasn't used that much, at least not as, you know, definitely not as much as Tom Cruise in this movie, but you know, she was still very good. Yeah, Eyes Wide Shut. Maybe his most maybe okay. maybe not his weirdest film, because there's still another one we'll get to in a minute, but definitely one of his most weirdest films, for sure. If you've seen it, then yeah, you should know. But yeah, Eyes Wide Shut, very good film, and a great film to end his filmography too. Even though I don't think it was intended to be his last film, but yeah, it was his last film. I think it even came out after he died. But yeah, Eyes Wide Shut. That is my number three. I'm actually surprised that I made it in the top three, but yeah, number three, Eyes Wide Shut. Okay, number two. Number two is a movie that I reviewed for the channel. Go check it out if you haven't already. I think it's, yeah, I believe it is the only Kubrick film I ever reviewed. That is Full Metal Jacket. Yes, my favorite war film, Full Metal Jacket. Very good. This is pretty much like two movies in one. First half is awesome. It is amazing, a masterpiece. I love Arlie Ermey's performance as Sergeant Hartman, and also, of course, Vincent D'Onofrio as Private Pyle, and that bathroom scene. Oh my god! Honestly, I think that might be the best scene in any Kubrick film, if I'm going to be honest. And of course, also Matthew Modine as Joker, who's in both parts. You know, both stories in this film, I guess you can say. But yeah, I love the first half. The second half also is very good too. Not as good as the first half, but the war part of the movie, as the first half was the training part, but still very good. Just overall a great film. Yeah, Full Metal Jacket would be my number one if it wasn't for what I have for my number one, but I still love Full Metal Jacket nonetheless, and it is my number two. All right, and my number one favorite Stanley Kubrick film is A Clockwork Orange. Yes. Man, what can I say about this movie? I mean, first off, it's definitely Stanley Kubrick's most controversial film, and probably his weirdest film as well. And not only that, but one of the most controversial films ever made. Like, even today, I don't even think you can make a movie like this. Like, can't even imagine what people thought about this movie back in the day, back in 1971 when it came out. It did get a Best Picture nomination, though. Surprisingly, I don't know how, but it did. Should have won, but but no. Clockwork Orange, amazing film. Malcolm McDowell, amazing performance. Malcolm McDowell as Alex DeLarge. Actually, on this DVD, there is a commentary with him on there, talking about this movie, about his experience, acting in this film. And yeah, it's a great commentary. If you have this DVD or whatever, or a Blu-ray that has that commentary, definitely listen to it. It's really good. But yeah, a lot of people don't like this movie because they find it disturbing and stuff. Mostly with one scene in particular, and I get it, but it doesn't bother me too much, to be honest. I just think this is a masterpiece, and yeah, I love it so much. One of Kubrick's best, if not his best. I mean, okay, maybe 2001 might be better than this, but I would say this is a close second. But it is, however, my number one favorite Stanley Kubrick film. And yeah, I can't get enough of this film. I love it that much. Clockwork Orange is my number one favorite Stanley Kubrick film. Yeah. All right, there we go. There's my ranking for all of Stanley Kubrick's films. So in the comments, give me your ranking for all of Stanley Kubrick's films. And if you haven't seen all of his films, then that's fine. Just give me a ranking of the ones you have seen, or just say what your favorite and least favorite Stanley Kubrick films are. All right, so please like, subscribe, comment, and hit the bell. And my next video will be, I think, hopefully, my Beatles discography ranking. So yeah, look out for that one. That should be coming this Thursday. So yeah, I'll see you then. Okay. Peace.